Good morning. Welcome to this service of worship at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tucson. My name is Celeste Rogers, and I am your worship associate this morning. A few housekeeping details first. The CDC has determined that COVID is now endemic, and the risk level in Pima County is currently low, although people are still getting sick with COVID. Even though we no longer require that masks be worn in worship and or concurrent religious education, you of course are still welcome to wear a mask. And if you are feeling sick, we encourage you to join us from home on YouTube. At the start of the pandemic, our congregation was very committed to being fully vaccinated and boosted. So for all of our sakes, especially those most vulnerable among us, please let us maintain that commitment. There are some gender-specific bathrooms out the glass doors behind you and to your left, and there's also an accessible and gender-inclusive single-stall restroom in the alcove behind the AV desk. Our community is striving to become as varied as the blooms of the Sonoran Desert. Whoever you are, whoever you have been, and whoever you are becoming, I invite you to bring your whole self here now. Let us remember those desert people who came first in this place. We honor the Yavapai, the Tohono O'odham, the Yaqui, and the people who no longer exist as tribal entities here in Arizona. We commit ourselves to upholding each of the 7 Unitarian Universalist core values. These values bind us together into a community as we try to bring out the best in each of us while recognizing the challenges inherent in each of us. One of these core values is transformation. We covenant to collectively transform and grow spiritually and ethically. Openness to change is fundamental to our Unitarian and Universalist heritages, never complete and never perfect. As we move more deeply into the sacred space of worship, please know that you are indeed welcome here. Whether you walked, rolled, skipped, shuffled, or hobbled in, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, whatever cultural and ethnic background you claim, whomever you love, however you identify your gender, and in whatever way you choose to express it, you are truly welcome here.
Good morning. It is good to see each and every one of you. If we haven't met, my name is Reverend Bethany Russell Lowe, and I am your lead minister alongside my co-minister, Reverend Jamili Omar. It is so good to be here, and I mean that. Our words for call to worship this morning come from my colleague, Reverend Nancy McDonald Ladd, called More Love. We gather in community every Sunday in a state of conflict for our very souls. A state both expansively hopeful and restrictively confined. We are hopeful that we might rise to meet a new day for those who seek and who serve the Spirit. Hopeful that each and every one of us might encounter the sacred within, among, and beyond every human soul. And hopeful that such an encounter might work through us to topple the idolatries of our age.
And yet, we also gather as a people who are not yet free, a people confined and contained. We are confined, unfree, contained, because in this culture of division built upon the pain of people at the margins, we hold our love too tightly, putting our love in boxes with qualifications. I will love you if, I will see you if, I will bear the truth of my soul alongside you if, and only if.
You agree with me. You look like me. You act like me. You sing like me. You wear your gender on your sleeve and produce it on demand. I will love you and will meet you in the sanctuary of our hearts.
If and only if
you give me evidence of your good liberal virtues.
if and only if
you never fail to speak the language of the movement, never weep upon a street corner out of grief for the sheer inadequacy and vastness of the struggle that you cannot even name. We are imprisoned by these ifs and only ifs. We are confined by the smallness of our loving, even as our souls remind us that we can only get free if we all get free together.
And so today, as we intersect in honest work, let our hopefulness intersect with our conviction. Let our willingness to love beyond our expectations or experience break down our long-held barriers. Let our willingness to be honest about the hardest questions open us to new truths.
May there truly be more love, with no labels, and no binary, and no preface, and no qualification, and no arithmetic, and no limit.
May there be more love to liberate us all, and may we keep on today and every day until we find it and share it, inch by precious inch, with one another and the world. Come, let us gather and worship, always seeking more love.
And now, if you're joining us on YouTube, I invite you to light your chalice or candle nearby if you have one, as we light our chalice here in Holland Sanctuary.
Would you respond in song, There's More Love Somewhere? The song named after Steve Biko, an activist in South Africa who was killed while detained by the police. Please rise and sing, There is More Love Somewhere. There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more hope somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere. This last verse a cappella. There is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more joy somewhere. The last line soft, There is more joy somewhere. Thank you. Please be seated.
was powerful. Our earth is strong. It can hold our pain and our joy, our love and our anger. Our shared bowl, which we use for joys and concerns each week, is strong enough to hold the big rocks, our collective celebrations and mournings, and also the smaller stones we will add to signify our individual joys and concerns. My heart is so full today after this week, full of sorrow and fear and anger about what is happening in the world. And I also pray for the safety and health of those most marginalized in our society right now. We who live in the desert know that water is a life-sustaining and scarce resource. Let us remember those who are walking through our desert right now without access to water. We pour water from a plastic jug, similar to the ones used by those seeking to assure greater access to water in the desert, like no more deaths. If you have a joy or concern, I invite you to go to menti.com and put in the code 49230814. If any of you here in the sanctuary wish to put your thoughts up on Menti, Brian Moon is here and can help you do that. If you are here in person, I invite you to come forward and create ripples of hope by placing a stone in the bowl to symbolize your joy or sorrow. Please form two lines, and if you are comfortable, you may come up to the table. Two people can come up to the table at the same time and put a stone in the bowl. And then please return to your seats utilizing the outside aisles. If you choose not to come forward, please sit in quiet meditation and allow the waves of music to wash over you. I will place some stones in the bowl for those joys and sorrows unspoken.
Thank you, Celeste. I'll read our mentee responses before our words for contemplation. There are some few long ones this morning, friends. Sarah, what is going on with these wars to murder innocent babies and children must stop. Yes, I feel gratitude that we can freely express our feelings here in this sanctuary, this church. Much gratitude. Excited about new adventures, terrified about the news, grateful for my family, my dogs, my friends. Friends are the family you get to choose. Praying for a family member having surgery soon. Our prayers to them, friends surrounding them, and all the medical professionals around them. My heart breaks thinking about parents afraid to send their kids to school because they're afraid about shifting immigration laws. Yes. Thankful that my mother's endoscopy this morning went well and hopeful she'll have a swift recovery. Oh, I'm so glad, friends. And I love how the life just interweaves with the big life here now. Thankful that I'm getting my vision back after surgery. Me too, us too. Immensely grateful to have finally found a job. Woo-hoo! Prayers for safety and comfort for those most vulnerable in our country. Yes, everlasting prayers. Beyond grateful for Reverend Sam, Reverend Bethany, Reverend Jamili, and the healing and accountability team doing hard and beautiful work. Yeah, we'll take some claps for that team. Asking for prayers and healing energy for my beloved mother-in-law, Sharon, who's in the hospital right now. Prayers go to her. Will you take a deep breath with me? Let's do that again. I feel good. Calling these words a prayer is a stretch, but they are contemplation words this morning for us. This is from Wendell Berry, a manifesto, the Mad Farmer Liberation Front. Love the quick profit, the annual raise, vacation with pay. Want more of everything ready-made. Be afraid to know your neighbors and to die, and you will have a window in your head. Not even your future will be a mystery anymore. Your mind will be punched in a card and shut away in a little drawer. When they want you to buy something, they will call you, and when they want you to die for profit, they will let you know. So friends, every day, do something that won't compute. Love the Lord, love the world, work for nothing. Take all that you have and be poor. Love someone who does not deserve it. Denounce the government and embrace the flag. Hope to live in the free republic for which it stands. Give your approval to all you cannot understand. Praise ignorance for what man has not encountered, he has not yet destroyed. Ask the questions that have no answers. Invest in the millennium. Plant sequoias. Say that your main crop is the forest that you did not plant, that you will not live to harvest. Say that the leaves are harvested when they have rotted into the mold. Call that prophet. Prophecy such returns. Put your faith in the 2 inches of humus that will build under the trees every 1,000 years. Listen to the carrion. Put your ear close and hear the faint shattering of the songs that are to come. Expect the end of the world. Laugh. Laughter is immeasurable. Be joyful, though you have considered all the facts. So long as women do not go cheap for power, please women more than men. His words, not mine. Ask yourself, will this satisfy a woman satisfied to bear a child? Will this disturb the sleep of a woman near to giving birth? Go with your love to the fields. Lie easy in the shade. Rest your head in her lap. Swear allegiance to what is nighest your thoughts. As soon as the generals and the politicos can predict the motions of your mind, lose it. Leave it as a sign to mark the false trail, the way you didn't go. Be like the fox who makes more tracks than necessary, some in the wrong direction. Practice resurrection. May we make it so, and amen.
Would you please rise and respond in song? May nothing evil cross the store. It's the first hymn in our hymnal. We'll sing the first and fourth verses, and we'll sing them a little slower than we sometimes do. Sink into them the prayer that the words were intended. May nothing evil cross this door, and may ill fortune never pry about these windows. May the roar and rain go by. With laughter drown the raucous shout, and though these sheltering walls are swelling, may they be strong to keep pain out and hold love in.
Has anyone told you you sound great this morning? You do. My, oh my. My, oh my, what a week it has been. Did you also need to sleep a little more this week? Did you also delete any number of apps off your phone this week? Did you also cry for fear of your life and livelihood and those of your friends and family this week? Did you also feel a little numb, maybe a lot numb, from trying to feel it all, feel through the news this week? Did you also forget to drink water, eat healthy food, and get fresh air this week? Did you also remember to do all of that, and then forget again, and then remember again? If so, know that you are not alone. You are so definitely, absolutely, in some cases, I can speak personally, you are not alone. All of these are normal and oh so very human reactions to having a heart and a conscience at this moment in our country's history. Grief in all its forms. Lament, deny, cry, rant, vent, scream, get numb. But friends, I need you to not despair. Do not get stuck in the various forms that grief takes. Because we need you. We need you to move and do and become. We need each to follow Wendell Berry's advice to do something every day that won't compute. How, you might ask? How, Reverend? I listened to a short book this week, which has some answers for me. It's called On Tyranny by Timothy Snyder. I see some nods. Some of y'all have read it. Great. Snyder wrote this book in 2017 and then updated in 2020 with 20 more lessons. There's a graphic novel, too, if that's more your speed. And I listen to it on audiobook, which is my preferred way of intaking information. Snyder's book and the lessons in it are drawn from his expertise in 20th century Central and Eastern European history, including the Soviet Union and the Holocaust, and how all that relates to American history. Snyder's 20 points and the extra 20, published 3 years later, equip us with ideas of how we might resist tyranny. In case you need those words defined, by resist I mean opposing or undermining or counteracting. Tyranny, as in that form of government or ruler that uses its powers in unfair and oppressive ways. Snyder offers us tangible ways to resist tyranny. I won't go into all 20 here. We don't have time, and you don't need a book report. But Snyder's first piece of advice you might have heard me say before. When living under a tyrant, our first instruction is do not obey in advance. Right? Here, Snyder points to historical examples that will break your heart, scientific studies of people showing a willingness to cause great harm to fellow human beings. He writes, people are remarkably receptive to following new rules in a new setting. They are surprisingly willing to harm and kill others in the service of some new purpose. So we must pay attention with an eye towards obeying orders well in advance of when those orders come. We will not obey in advance. Snyder also advises us to take responsibility for the face of the world. And he explains that this way. The symbols of today enable the realities of tomorrow. Notice the swastikas and other signs of hate. Do not look away, and do not get used to them. Remove them yourself and set an example for others to do so. Taking these two pieces of advice a bit further, Snyder says that resisting tyranny requires us to stand out. He writes, someone has to. It is easy to follow along. It can feel strange to do or say something different, but without the unease, there's no freedom. Remember Rosa Parks. The movement set an example. The spell of the status quo broken, and others followed. So stand out, but our whole lives can't be standing out. He also says that we need to practice corporeal politics. And those are some big words that I needed unpacked. He said that's this. Powers want your body softening in your chair and your emotions dissipating on the screen. Get outside. Put your body in unfamiliar places with unfamiliar people. Make new friends and march with them. Snyder also says, and this is self-serving, but he says it, contribute to good causes. You know what that means. We try to do that here together in church. Snyder even writes that you might consider giving to those social causes through autopay, which I will not disagree with him on. And the reason Snyder suggests to contribute to good causes goes deeper, though. And I want to read you why he says we must. He writes, sharing in an undertaking teaches us that we can trust people beyond a narrow circle of friends and families, and helps us to recognize authorities from whom we can learn. The capacity for trust and learning can make life seem less chaotic and mysterious, and democratic politics more plausible and attractive. The final point I'll highlight of Snyder's is this. Be calm when the unthinkable arrives. He writes, modern tyranny is terror management. When the terrorist attack comes, remember that authoritarians exploit such events in order to consolidate power. The sudden disaster which requires the ends of checks and balances, the dissolution of oppositional parties, the suspension of freedom of expression, the right to a fair trial, and so on, is the oldest trick in the Hitlerian book. Do not fall for it. Which reminds me that amongst our grief and despair, our sadness and our anger, all those emotions we feel, we somehow have to stay calm and ready to take quick action. Snyder writes, our natural fear and grief must not enable the destruction of our institutions. Courage does not mean not fearing or not grieving. It does mean recognizing and resisting terror management right away from the moment of the attack, precisely when it feels most difficult to do so. I'm reading these to you because they're a challenge to me. If you're receiving them that way, it feels challenging, but necessary. The whole book is worth a read or a listen. Take your time, though. I needed to. Take breaks. Be kind to yourself. And remember that Snyder is not only telling us to resist, but also telling us to get outside, to stay hydrated, to make new friends. And Wendell Berry didn't just say, do something that won't compute. He also said, love the world. Love someone who doesn't deserve it. Denounce the government and embrace the flag. Ask the questions that have no answers. Invest in the millennium. Plant sequoias. Berry's list maybe isn't literal, but invites us to feel our grief and despair and to carry it with us forward somewhere. Berry's hope is not a blind optimism. I don't read it as that. It's an active hope. A loving, embracing, questioning, investing, planting, growing, resisting hope. One of my colleagues, Reverend Joanna Fontaine Crawford, wrote a poem a few years ago about this movement from grief to active hope. It's maybe idealistic, but I think the ideal it lays out is interesting. She writes this. And then the day came when finally they put down their burdens and said, that's enough of that. The moment was full of sorrow, but also relief. Arms exhausted from carrying the burden of trying to entice, persuade people to be more compassionate, wise. They continued their own work of building a world more just, but were freer, lighter. The responsibility for others' thoughts was gone. They taught through their actions for anyone willing to read their lives. You can see them now at work in the daytime, singing and laughing in the evenings. Ask for their views and they'll give you a mysterious smile. You can join them, you know, but you cannot fight them. For they just continue on their way, doing the work that is theirs to do. They do not seek your agreement, your approbation. When they encounter an obstacle, they find a way over it. I have never seen people who work so hard look so at peace, she says. Imagine if what we could do if we put down that burden of changing minds. I feel that relief, sorrow, but possibility. Imagine what we could do if we took up the work of doing what needs to be done. Welcoming the stranger, protecting the vulnerable, teaching the children, funding and organizing papers for people of all genders, witnessing, getting angry about, resisting deportations. Imagine what it could feel like to dwell in joy in all those moments. If you're wanting to get connected to people who are doing some of that work, there's a Social Justice Council meeting at 12:15 today, right back here. And if you want to get connected to interfaith works, doing work alongside immigrant communities here in Tucson, send me an email, come find me. I'll hook you up with a meeting invite in the next few weeks. All of you today had a little red card on your seat when you came in. That's a good thing to read. Know those are your rights and your neighbor's rights. Keep it in your pocketbook in case you ever need it. Or maybe some of you will listen on repeat to Episcopal Bishop Marion Buddy's request and demand for us to have mercy. Thank you, friend, for demanding I put that in this morning. Snyder's recommendations for resisting tyranny are a must-read. It's a hard read, but a must one. Each of us needs to do at least some of the things he suggests. And here at church, we might play a few different roles with each other in the days and weeks and months and years ahead. First, my ask is that we keep showing up. We have to act as if we need each other, because we need each other, maybe more than ever or more than in a really long time. And then we have to get comfortable saying what we need. Maybe that's stable housing, alternative health care, food, child care, a shoulder to cry on, an ear to vent to, allyship, advocacy, resources, protection. And finally, we must then do what others ask of us. When the ask for a concrete need comes, how will you share what you can? When the ask for less concrete needs like protection and advocacy come, how will you create more safety for your neighbor? These are questions that we cannot not answer. We have to begin to imagine the asks that will come and know in advance how we will respond. You understand today and the days to come, well, I will not use this podium, this pulpit, this recorded live stream to name the specific needs of our community, right? You understand, well, I and we will need to use more discretion when discussing what it is we need from each other and what we will do for each other. You understand that, right? I'm looking for an affirmation here or a no. I see yeses. Thank you. Good. Every week growing up, the Unitarian Universalist congregation of my childhood would recited a unison affirmation, which I can still say word for word this day. The covenant will sound familiar to many of you. It starts with, love is the doctrine of this church. It was initially written by Unitarian Reverend James Viola Blake, and this particular version that we're going to read was adapted from a version by Universalist Reverend L. Griswold Williams. I invite you to say these words with me now, as they're on the screen. If you know a different version of these words by heart and you want to say that version, go ahead. You do you. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. It's not the first time that I searched within myself this week for the bedrock of my resistance, my faith, and these words just came flying into my head, a little later than expected, but they came. Love is the doctrine of this church. I will resist all forms of tyranny with love as my doctrine. The quest for truth is its sacrament. I will take that sacred duty to pursue and promote what is true and real. And service is its prayer. I will act with my body, with my words, put my body beside my neighbors, my friends, my family who are threatened and marginalized by tyrannical rule. I will resist. I will quest. I will act. If you want to join me, will you repeat after me? We will resist with love. We will quest for what is true and real. We will quest for what is true and real. We will act to meet the needs of our neighbors, friends, and selves. We will resist. We will quest. We will act. We will resist. We will quest. We will act. May we make it so. Blessed be, and amen.
Thank you for that beautiful music, Danielle. This church is supported by the voluntary generosity of all who join with us. However you participate in today's service, our congregation depends on you for your love, your time, and your financial support. For those of you here in person, the ushers will soon be passing the collection baskets among you. For those watching us from afar, you can send a check to our church office, give online at uuctucson.org/donate, or text 833-361-5796. We should not allow the offering that we take up each Sunday to become a stale habit. Please remember that it is an opportunity to recommit a part of your financial wealth to this place and to this congregation. As the offering is collected, announcements about upcoming activities will appear on the screen.
Good morning. It's been a hot minute since I've been up here. My name is Brenda Lunt, and I'm on your board of trustees. I serve as the board secretary, and I help support the worship activities at our church. I want to first invite everyone to social hour after the service in Goddard, which is through the double doors behind you and to your left. There will be coffee, iced tea, lemonade, snacks, and good company. Social hour food and refreshments are free for all, but donations are always gratefully accepted to cover the costs. If you are new and want to stay in touch with us, you can fill out a guest information card in the Welcome Center, which is also in Goddard Hall. You can also find a virtual guest information card in the newcomer section of our website. We have a couple of announcements we wanted to bring special attention to. We're going to start by talking about auction. Auction is Saturday, February 15th at 5 p.m. Make sure to buy your tickets early and think about what you can contribute to the auction. In addition to the treasures that we'll need for the silent auction, we particularly are needing you all to be brainstorming fun events to offer for the live auction. Come to the auction table during social hour to turn in your donations, chat about donation ideas, or buy tickets. The Rain Garden Fun Party is happening. We want you to join your fellow UUCT members and friends on February 8th at 9 a.m. to learn more about capturing and using water in our deserts. Watershed Management Group will lead that group in installing plants in several small rain gardens. All ages and ability are welcome, and snacks will be provided. Social Justice Council meets today, as Reverend Bethany held up and you saw on the slide. It'll be right here in the sanctuary at 12:15. We'd also like to recognize that our wonderful treasurer, Linda French, is resigning for health reasons. She is amazing, and we want to show her a big UUCT thank you for all of her work in the last 4 years as being our treasurer. There's a giant card in Goddard, and we would really love everyone to sign it. It will be in Goddard. Right now it's in Janet's hands. But we'd love for you to contribute to that, and we will honor her at a future date when she can join us. Finally, as a member of your board, I want to remind you that all these things that happen on Sundays that you get to enjoy is done with volunteers. We have ushers and greeters, we have worship associates, we have our AV team, and all of those committees are looking for more help. There's a lot going on, and we're all overwhelmed. And sometimes when we talk about a church where service is our prayer, I want to invite you to come and be with people and serve with them in a way that makes you feel connected to other people. And if being part of Sunday morning worship is a way that would make you feel connected and supported in this world, we would love to have you on any of those committees. You can talk to me or any of those people you see doing that work. They all would love to incorporate you in the work that they're doing, and we'd love to bring you closer to what we do here. I'll be available at social hour for a little bit. Like all of us, I'm meeting with people, doing things, planning the next church activity, but I'm happy to hear your feedback for the board. So is anybody wearing a blue lanyard? My name tag broke this morning, so my blue lanyard's in my purse. But look for those, and your board members are happy to hear from you. Thanks so much, and we're so happy that you're here.
Would you please sing the gratitude song as you can? And would you click to the next slide? Is there a good? Okay, good and bad. The words aren't going to be on the screen, so I get to choose the words.
Oh, the things
to sing. See if you can match them. We've sung them once or twice, but these are Reverend Bethany's words to. We
the things we're
are grateful for community, for gifts we share, and how we show our love and care. With thinking minds, with thinking and helping hands, we'll build a place where love and hope expand. And apologies for the words.
Oh, the Things We're For by Inostanta Negera. When you go to a march and raise your sign high, you make people smile who thought you were shy. And you'll make people wonder, does that kid really know why? You do know, of course. That's why you're there. You're there to say no because you do care. You're there to say stop. What's happening is not fair. We can't keep doing what we're doing the way it's been done. We can't keep using it, moving it, running it, how it's been run. Standing together, that's how change can be won. So yes, you do know what's up and why you are there, but that's not the big question, at least not for me. It's not folks who don't know or just disagree. It's folks who want to be with us, but feel they are just, that they simply just can't see. Folks who say, we want to resist, we're on the same page. Our problems are serious, that's easy to see. Destruction must stop, we can't let it be. Stop polluting and poisoning and cheating and stealing. No one likes dictators or violence or kids going hungry. End poverty, stop war, but okay. Then what are you for? Oh, what are we for? That is my favorite question, and I'm sure it's yours too because you pay attention. You have so many answers and so many options and so many solutions you want to impart. The only hard question is, where does one start? We have to start somewhere, so let's take a pick. Take something we all do. We all get sick. We get wheezy and sneezy and snuffly noses. We get headaches and tummy aches and sometimes throw up. We sip some hot soup and we get a good rest. And soon we feel better and back to our best. But sometimes being sick is harder than that. The nurses may say we need more than just rest. The doctors might want to give us a test. Perhaps they'll ask us to get an x-ray or maybe even a hospital stay. And when there's a virus that starts to run wild, more people get sicker, though some cases are mild. But even so many sickies means so many meds, and not enough nurses and not enough beds. Sadly, the answer is pretty not funny. When companies decide to make all their money, deciding who gets cared for and who does not, depending on cash you put in their pot. So if you have means, you get care that you need, but if you don't, well, you're in trouble indeed. So here's an idea that we can all share. We all do our part and put in what's fair, and then when we need it, we have access to care. So health care for all is a thing that we're for. Should I go on? Continue this tour? No problem for sure. We all know now that climate's a-changin'. The earth is a-warmin', the sea level's risin', the ice shelves are melting, which is not surprising, since science was warning that the globe will keep warming if we keep burning the stuff we've been burning. But is there an answer, some people may ask? Why, yes, you say, if we're up to the task. Look up, you exclaim, what do you see? A huge ball of plasma, clean energy for free. So instead of drilling and spilling, and, let's be honest, even killing, for dirty, dead dino group that should stay in the ground, let's embrace the sun and wind and earth. Nature's power will always abound. If anyone's still not sure what you mean, what we can change so our future is green, well, it starts with committing to making it real, working together to seal a new deal. Wow, they say, universal health care, they say, solar energy, such big things for a kid. Okay, that's cool, but shouldn't you be focused on kid things like play dates and school? School and play, why yes. On that, you have much to say. We learn more with recess and time to eat lunch. Much smaller classes we can't learn in a crunch. If we memorize and drill and are taught to be tested, real thinking does not get invested. Critical minds can't flourish that way. And speaking of teaching, our teachers need much better pay. We need schools that are safe. We need freedom to range. We need libraries and sports. We need cultural exchange. We need music and arts to fill our brains and our hearts. We should be seen as whole people with many different kinds of smarts. There are so many ideas upon which we can call for free, fair, and public education for all. But let's get more personal. Let's talk about we. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about me. Let's talk about us and the many, many ways we can be. Let's celebrate the splendor of spectrums of gender. Let's recognize and value the many hues of our skin, the many languages we speak, our many lands of origin. To whom one may pray, with whom one shares love, the diverse ways our minds work, our bodies we're proud of. Okay, I know, this is a lot, but hey, they asked, they get what you got. They opened the door for solutions galore when they asked you, what are you for? Maybe they'd hoped for something lighthearted, but you, my friend, are just getting started. So, as you can see, there's much to be done, much to be fixed, and much to be run. But having to do stuff isn't so bad. Let's roll up our sleeves, let's do something rad. Let's shout out solutions from sea to sea, yell out our favorites. I hope you'll join me. To you, these ideas are never a bore. You've already shared many, and have many, 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 oh so many, many more. When you care for the world as much as you do, creating solutions, oh, so you. Of course, not all solutions are the best they can be, and some are things we may disagree. But it all starts with caring and agreeing to sharing, a radical act if we are daring. But all this is stuff that you already know. You're ready to go, you're ready to soar, you're ready to start, you're ready to roar. So off now, let's go. Let us start working. Let us start building the future we're for. Can you think of some things that you are for that we haven't mentioned yet?
Let's sing. Would you please rise as you are able? I'm hearing this last song as a call to creatively resist today. Other messages are also in the words. We'll sing it through twice. If it's new to you, catch it. If you hit the melody, great. If you hit a note near the melody, even better. Sing as you will. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle around to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. Last two lines again. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
Our chalice extinguishing today comes from Starhawk in Dreaming the Dark Magic, Sex, and Politics. The title of it is Community Means Strength. We are all longing to go home to some place we have never been, a place half remembered and half envisioned we can only catch glimpses of from time to time. Community. Somewhere there are people to whom we can speak with passion without having the words catch in our throats. Somewhere a circle of hands will open to receive us. Eyes will light up as we enter. Voices will celebrate with us whenever we come into our own power. Community means strength that joins our strength to do the work that needs to be done. Arms to hold us when we falter. A circle of healing, a circle of friends, somewhere where we can be free.